Good afternoon and welcome to the Buffalo Review TV. I'm Ashley Steele.
And I'm Zachary Huck. On today's show, we will discuss the USG Spring Fest, Faculty Appreciation Night, the NFL Draft, and much more.
Now, from the campus of SUNY Buffalo State, news and information for Buffalo and the surrounding communities, it's the Buffalo Review TV, produced by Stripes Media.
The Anne Frank Project is inviting students to enroll in their new theater course that will be offered this fall 2017. The Ensemble Theater course is a service learning course that partners with the theater department to learn about the theory of story building. The course will be taught by Drew Kahn, who is the director of the Anne Frank Project and a professor in the theater department at Buffalo State.
The 19th Annual Student Research and Creativity Conference was held on April 28th and 29th. The conference allowed undergraduate and graduate students to present their research in a supportive environment. The event included oral presentations, poster sessions, art exhibits, and performances. The program's schedule and presentations were accessible via mobile device.
Buffalo State is searching for a Vice President of Student Affairs. Interim Vice President Daniel Velez has put together a search committee in hopes of filling the Vice President position for the 2017-2018 academic year. The committee plans to have the next Vice President of Student Affairs by January 1st, 2018. Some of the members on the search team include Melanie Perrault, the Provost, and Janelle Brooks, the Assistant Director for Student Conduct for Residence Life. Students have the opportunity to nominate faculty and staff for Faculty Appreciation Awards. Jacob Fyack has the story.
Thanks, guys. Well, Teacher Appreciation Night took place this past Friday as teachers were being awarded for their accomplishments during the school year. Here's more on the story.
This past Friday, the Student Success Department at Buffalo State hosted their annual Teacher Appreciation Night in the Technology Building. Teacher Appreciation Night is for students to nominate professors in a department so they can be awarded by their success. This night is also for professors to be recognized by what they have done for their students in the classes and how they have been a big contributor to their success in attaining their major. In the Communication Department, Professor Gabriel DeMeo was nominated for the first time tonight and reflects on how this can impact other professors on campus.
You know, it's heartening because the challenge that you have as a professor is you never know, not never, but rarely do you keep in contact with the students who graduate Buff State. So out of the 16 years that I've been teaching, I keep in touch with a handful of students, but not many, so you never know the impact that you had. And I think of my professors. I came to Buffalo State and graduated in 1986. I think of my professors every single day. Whenever I go into the classroom, I really think about all the great professors that I had, like Tom McCrae, Bob Elms, people like that.
One specific moment that happened on Friday was when President Catherine Conway Turner took to the podium for her speech. Marcel Baker, who hosted the event, described how important it was for Conway Turner to be there that evening.
So coming to an event, talking to faculty, saying that she appreciates them herself, and then knowing that they're going to get appreciated by students as well is a great impact for everybody here.
Student retention specialist Brian Dubinian talked about how important it was for the faculty.
I think it's amazing. Our faculty are not often really honored for the hard work that they do. So this event is really big for them in terms of hearing what impact they've had on students and how they contribute to student success.
Looking at the excitement from the professors, you can tell that the Teacher Appreciation Night means a lot to them. This event has been going for the past 3 years, and it looks like this will continue and progress in the next couple of years. For the Buffalo Review, I'm Jacob Fyack.
The Counseling Center hosted its 17th annual memorial service in the Campus Student Union Assembly on April 27th. The purpose was to provide a forum for the community to remember those and celebrate those that are no longer with us. They celebrate with music, poetry, reading, and a candle lighting. The name of each deceased person was read aloud and then followed by a ring of a bell.
This upcoming week, students will get to enjoy the annual late night pancake breakfast on Monday, May 8th from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Students are encouraged to come out to the residential dining hall to enjoy a midnight snack. The event will also feature music and a chance to win prizes during CEP week. USG hosted their annual Spring Fest this week. The 3-day event featured a relaxation night, a barbecue, and a concert. Nikita Singh has more on the story.
With the semester coming to an end, the United Students Government has put on an eventful 3-day celebration to commemorate seniors graduating and ensure off to a stressful semester for some students. Starting off the week, USG hosted their annual relaxation night in the Union Lobby. This year's theme consisted of a casino night filled with card games such as blackjack, poke, baccarat. Student organizations such as PASO and BAM hosted Afro Zumba and yoga in the social hall. There were also massages by the Fireside Lounge, food, and a live DJ. The second day was led by the first ever Springfest Jam Barbecue hosted in the Union Lobby. Students here at SUNY Buffalo State got the opportunity to unwind by enjoying an outdoor roller skating rink. Live performances were held by Max Millie, Ty Million, Brinks, and Demo. There was also a green screen photo booth down in the lower lobby that captured the artist lineup for this year's upcoming Springfest concert.
The graduation and all this other stuff, so this is a moment to not think about homework and all that other stuff and just relax until I gotta go back and do homework.
What has been the most stressful thing about this semester for you?
Time management. Between USG, school, work, my organization, it was a lot, but I got through it.
Erie County's legislator Betty Jean Grant announced that on April 23rd that she'll be running for the mayor of Buffalo. Grant will be running against current mayor Brian Brown, who has been in the office since 2006. Brian is the first African-American mayor of Buffalo. Grant has served as the Erie County legislator since 2007 and looks to become the first African-American woman to be the mayor of Buffalo.
Last Thursday, Bills head coach Sean McDermott completed his first NFL draft. The team then made headlines when they announced that general manager Doug Whaley was fired. Whaley served as Bills GM for 4 seasons under 3 different head coaches. The team traded back from the 10th overall pick to the 27th pick with Kansas City Chiefs. With the pick, the Bills selected cornerback Tre'Davious White from LSU. The Bills also took wide receiver Zay Jones in the 2nd round. Coach McDermott and the team hopes that the 2 draft picks can fill in the holes that was left by departed players in the offseason. Thank you for joining us here at the Buffalo Review. We're going to take a short break and stay tuned for more.
2, 1, cue 'em, take camera 2.
You're watching the Buffalo Review TV, produced by Stripes Media. You can find out more about our show at our website, thebuffaloreview.wordpress.com, and we welcome your feedback. If you have a question, comment, or story idea, you can email us at thebuffaloreview@gmail.com.
Hello, and welcome back to the Buffalo Review TV. I'm Elie Fortune. Today I have with me Dr. Carl E. Wendy and Dr. Al DeMirco, who are both research scientists in the Center for Health Professions and Social Research here at Buffalo State College. Thank you both for joining us here today. Appreciate it. To start off, for those who aren't aware, what is the Institute for Community Health Promotion and what is the mission for this organization?
It stands for the Institute for Community Health Promotion. It's actually a combination of what was and still is the Center for Health and Social Research and the Center for the Development of Human Services, which does training for New York State Child and Family Service county employees in mental health services and the Office of Temporary Disability Assistance. OTDA.
So they're a relatively large organization. We are relatively small, but we've combined ourselves into one large institute with a common mission: one community, our community, and lifelong health. So that is the mission.
Great answer.
Yes.
With that being said, April 29th was the National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, for those who don't know, and ICHP was heavily involved with the event. Could you briefly explain what the day consists of and how Buffalo State played its part?
Well, the day consists of actually involving the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and also New York State or Erie County Department of Health. They have a coordinator who actually does a lot of coordinating for drug drop boxes across the county, which is a very effective way of obtaining drugs from the community members during the rest of the year. But they concentrate on having one drop day. Basically, we sat over in Cleveland Circle. They have to have an agent. We had some university police available as well. because there are a lot of narcotic drugs that are turned in, among other kinds of drugs. There's a number of other drugs that get turned in. Basically, people drive up, we have a bucket, we receive the drugs. In some locations, they log the drugs, but for the most part, they're put into burnable containers, and they seal those containers, and then all at one time bring them up to a facility at modern incinerator.
Covanta.
Yes, in Niagara Falls.
I wasn't even aware of that. I thought it was just limited to prescription drugs. It was narcotics also.
Oh, it's aimed primarily at narcotic drugs. That's what we're looking to do, is get narcotic drugs off the street.
Both prescribed and non-prescribed. I
Yeah.
assume that they will accept any and all, but in general, it's prescription drugs. Pills that you would have from wisdom tooth removal or post-surgery. You use half of your prescription, and then you've got the remainder lying in your medicine cabinet. And that is not the best place for those to be, and neither is flushing them down the toilet, in which case they end up in our water stream. So, disposal via combustion in an incinerator is the best practice route to dispose of them, and days like this help to get the community to dispose of those that they might have on hand, in a periodic way every 6 months or so.
What benefits do you believe having a National Prescription Drug Take Back Day has on the communities all around the country?
Well, we have in this country a prescription drug, specifically an opioid epidemic. Since the 1990s, we have been increasingly prescribing opioids for all manner of conditions, chronic pain, as well as acute pain post-surgery and things like that. So we have a lot of them. And I believe in New York State in 2012, the ratio of opioid prescriptions to adults was something like 75 prescriptions to every 100 adults, something like that. And so we are relatively moderate, I guess, compared to some states where you have more than one prescription per adult in the state for opioids. So we have a glut of these things available for use. Use and misuse, specifically misuse. And so that level of availability in people's medicine cabinets, grandma's medicine cabinet, that anyone might have access to, who they were looking could find and use and misuse. So the ultimate benefit of having days like this is to reduce that level of availability so that those who are not prescribed it can not have access to those drugs and not endure consequences from their use.
Well, the average person isn't aware on how to properly dispose of prescription drugs, and that in turn has an impact on human health. Could you share with us some of the negative effects improper disposal has caused from your knowledge?
Well, the one he was talking about was flushing down toilets or putting them in the water system. So you're putting all manner of narcotic drugs, but other drugs as well, into the water system. It's starting to show up in micro amounts in some of the water systems, and those can have, there's a lot of speculation on what those might actually cause, but you're putting a myriad of drugs. It isn't just one type of drug. You're probably getting 50 to 100 different kinds of drugs, so those kinds of things aren't necessarily filtered or taken out of the water system as we presently do that, so they tend to persist.
Do you think using 2 days out of the year for the National Drug Take Back Initiative is enough, or should there be more days out of the year?
It's not enough.
Definitely not enough.
And the 2 days that they do use the DEA are actually very expensive ways of doing it. We have now drug drop boxes in almost all the police and sheriff's offices around Erie County, and that tends to be a much better way to bring in excess drugs across the county.
And there's still, even with only having 2 days, while that is a good thing in general to have, is some organized event to dispose of these things, that's not, if you have them sitting and you're sitting on a prescription for 6 months, there's still risk that someone might obtain and use those drugs, misuse those drugs in that time period. So every, a 6-month time period is just far too long to wait and sit on them. They make a number of products that are like lockable medicine cabinets, which is a relatively high-cost way of dealing with this. The better way is to have individuals in the community who have these drugs to be able to routinely dispose of them as soon as they are aware that they are unwanted, not needed, expired, any of the conditions that might warrant them to want to dispose of them. We want people to be able to do that as soon as possible and in a readily available way, and that's one of the reasons why we're really pushing more availability of drug drop boxes, and as well as the norming of that behavior. You have drugs, they're expired, unwanted, to dispose of them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
A final question. Upon doing my research on the research sciences, I noticed that one of your research areas is a substance abuse prevention in adolescents. What can us as students who may know a friend or associate who's abusing a substance or well on their way to abuse a substance, what can we do to prevent that from happening?
There are a number of ways. First, tell them no. There are rules against that. There are policies against that. They're also at the Weigel Health Center here at Buffalo State College. They have counselors. They have medical professionals who will refer you. They have a better way of understanding when use is getting out of hand, and they are also very familiar with where to refer people for treatment if it's necessary.
There are various levels of treatment, from outpatient types of treatment through more intensive inpatient, depending on the nature of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, both of your times were appreciated. Thank you, doctors. That's all the time that we have left. I am Elie Fortune, and this is the Buffalo Review TV.
3, 2, 1, cue 'em, take camera 2.
You're watching the Buffalo Review TV, produced by Stripes Media. You can find out more about our show at our website, thebuffaloreview.wordpress.com, and we welcome your feedback. If you have a question, comment, or story idea, you can email us at thebuffaloreview@gmail.com.
Dancing in the Round was an exciting challenge for the choreographers and dancers in many ways that was held by the theater department. I'm sitting here with Latia Banks, and thank you for joining.
E-Banks.
E-Banks, I apologize. But I guess my first question would be is, what was your involvement with the whole event? Yes, Dance with the Night, yeah.
So I've been dancing in this company since my freshman year. Mm-hmm. I'm a senior now. I took a break for my junior year, so that spring performance my junior year I wasn't a part of, but from my freshman year to my senior year I've been a part of it, and it's been an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a lot of mileage as far as dancing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long did it take for you to come up with the act, and is it easier for the organization to come up with this event, Dancing with the Night, compared to the other ones? Is there something new that you guys did?
Yes, this is the first time actually we've dancing around, and by that I mean with the audience on every side
really?
Of us. Yeah,
okay.
Usually it's a proscenium stage where the audience is in the front. We have our show, and then the back we can just go off on wings and stuff, so the audience only see one side of it. But this time we actually had to make sure our surroundings, our back, make sure that we were targeting every single area of the stage so that each person can see us, in some way, shape, or form. And that's a challenge because that's never happened before. Instead of having wings to go off to on the side, we had to wait patiently. So when we were trying to catch our breath, we couldn't just lose our composure. We had to still be
engaged.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's definitely a challenge for not only the dancers but for the choreographers as well, because we danced, but we didn't not all of us. We didn't make up the piece. I made up one, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. But as far as the whole speaking about being engaged with the whole audience and things like that, do you feel that will enhance the experience going forward with maybe live events or maybe live dances that the theater department might hold in the future?
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't been the first event per se that has been around, but for dance, yes, for like plays and stuff.
Yeah,
it
of course.
has
But
definitely
for dancing, it's a new territory.
Yes, it
Okay.
has been. I think that it was definitely a learning experience for everyone.
Mhm.
And as far as if they will do it again, I'm not sure, but I know next year they're going back to proscenium stage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So for a rookie, for example, like let's say a rookie comes in and tries to get involved with dancing, from your experience with, with theater and things like that and dancing, how much work is put in terms of keeping with conditioning and?
So, one requirement of just being in the concert is that you must be taking a technique class, not just a regular dance class, but it has to be something that can enhance and better your technique as far as a dancer. So that's definitely something you have to train all the time. You cannot, there is no like days off. Basically, you have to stretch every single day because it shows in your performance. It shows in your practice. You have to practice outside of rehearsals to get better, and your choreographer relies on you to have it together so they can move forward. So it's definitely tedious, and it's definitely a lot of hard work, effort, and mental yes, just you have to be mentally ready for this.
And a lot of organization, obviously, because if one person is slacking, then it can bring the whole train, back.
Yep.
But, and piggyback off that question, in terms of stress, for you personally, do you feel that, at times, practices may put a lot of stress on your body in terms of with school and maybe, if you work and things like that? Do you feel that I mean, I see that you work for USG, so it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, of course. I was always stressed and I was always tired. When I went home, I would always just want to go to sleep because it's just so many hours out of the day. And this is something that you can't just, put to the side and just expect to get better at. You literally have to put in time in order to, and not just an hour. You have to put in a lot of time in order to get better at this. So with a lot of time, and if you're doing things throughout your whole day, of course, you're going to be tired by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So especially with dance, USG, what else? Work, yeah. And that's another thing, just making sure that my work and USG doesn't conflict with my dance schedule and stuff. Oh yeah, it was a lot.
A lot of stress.
Yeah.
But do you feel it's worth it though at the end?
Course.
Like, because was there times where did you just feel like it's too much for you? Because it seems like you've organized it pretty well and you made it through. I mean, you're graduating. We were talking about this before earlier. So do you feel that has like helped mold you in terms of like other fields, like with discipline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. I know one thing I learned is that you can't say yes to everything. You definitely can't. And you got to just prioritize which one means the most to you and how much time you're going to put into that thing that means the most to you. I'm not saying that you can't do more than one thing at a certain time, but definitely there should be a priority on each thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I had to really learn and try to fit and give everything the right amount of time that they deserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much spacing everything out. Okay. Now for men trying to come and dance, because this is usually like a touchy topic.
Okay, yeah.
Because a lot of men at times feel ashamed if they're dancing. Me personally, for my experience, like I know a couple of guys like who wanted to like get into like theater and like dancing, but they just feel kind of like their boys would make fun of them. What would you say to them? Like,
we want dancers. We want male dancers.
Yeah.
The dance world needs male dancers. We won't be dance without male dancers. So that attitude that they have, I feel it isn't towards dancing, it's towards the people that don't understand dancing.
Yeah.
And if they don't understand dance, then they shouldn't even have a say in whether it matters to them or not, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as far as male dancers, we love them. We love them. We cherish them. We need them. We need them for lifts.
Yeah.
We need them for everything.
It takes a lot of strength to do that.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Dancing is a sport. So if they're worried about looking girly, dancing is a sport. You can get the same type of workout with lifting weights that you can with dancing. So that's what I got to say about that.
So for the men who might want to join in the future, your message would be to them, like, you shouldn't feel ashamed, right?
You shouldn't feel ashamed at all. You should do first of all, do what you love. If you love dancing, do it regardless of what other people say. And, do it.
Okay. Now, what's your major? Can you elaborate on people?
Okay, I'm an arts and letters, theater, and dance major. It's a combination of two, concentration in theater, and then my other concentration is in dance. I couldn't really figure out which one I loved more.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there isn't an actual dance major here at Buffalo State.
Yes.
So the only way I would even be able to be considered a dance major is if I went through the arts and letters major and then had a concentration in dance.
Okay.
So which is what I did, you know.
Okay.
So I love it. That's the best decision I've made. I actually started off as a finance major, business, and then went into economics.
Oh, that's a jump.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I realized that wasn't for me. I always was a dance minor before I became an arts and letters dance major.
Okay.
So I always was doing dance even though it wasn't my major. And eventually I knew that I couldn't continue to do something I didn't like to do, which was economics. And I finally made my decision to be an arts and letters and dance major. Love my advisor. She's very helpful, and it's a very small major, but trust me, the connections that can be made throughout that major, it's definitely beneficial.
Because it's at the end of the day, whoever you know, correct?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yep, it is.
Okay. So, what is your zodiac sign? Because a lot of times people can determine, like, you know, are this person like an artsy person? Are they a dance person? If I may ask, like, what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, you're Sagittarius.
Yes, I am.
That's funny because it seems for what they say about that is like they're very extroverted people and like to do a lot of like arts and performance. So it's ironic that that actually
is me.
Well, it fits perfect though for that. So in terms of trying to, you know, once you graduate, things like that, are you planning on pursuing more of, you know, theater? Were you trying to get into, like, what career path do you feel like?
So my first concentration in my major is theater. I've always been dancing, but I haven't been in the acting and theater aspect that much. I honestly want to get into theater more, and I actually want to go into more of acting and acting on camera.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to do after college. I don't want to lose my dance background though. I will never stop dancing.
Yes.
I feel like that's a passion of mine that will just never go away.
It's your core.
Yes, you know, but I definitely want to expand and see what else I can do. And I know I can do, like, I know I'm very good at acting, so yeah.
Like, hopeful for the future, right?
Definitely. That's how you have to be, you know, in order to make it. You gotta believe in yourself.
That's right, because no one else will, you know, unless you start with yourself.
Right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming and giving us time to explain more about, you know, the theater, you know, on campus and like the past event with Dance with the Night. And thank you.
The Buffalo Review TV, produced by Stripes Media. We welcome your feedback. If you have a question, comment, or story idea, you can email us at thebuffaloreview@gmail.com.